Happy 70th birthday to the legendary Mr. T. Even though I appreciate him for what he did in his wrestling career, but I don't fucking appreciate him for what he did to his wife, his son, and himself. Happy birthday to the late great Chris Benoit. And happy birthday to legendary hip hop artist and my favorite producer of all time, Havoc from the infamous Mobb Deep. X-Men 1991 back again with another big birthday rant. And you see my shirt. We have another legend in the hip hop industry celebrating a birthday. Today would have been the 50th birthday of my favorite rapper of all time next to Tupac, Christopher George Latoro Wallace, better known by his rap name, the Notorious B.I.G, Biggie, Big Papa, Biggie Smalls, Frank White. Today would have been Biggie's 50th birthday. And it's been 25 years since he passed. Who knows what he would have looked like 25 years later. So without wasting any more time, let's get into this happy birthday Biggie rant. Let's go. Biggie was born Christopher George Latoro Wallace at St. Mary's Hospital in Brooklyn, New York on May 21st, 1972, the day after Busta Rhymes was born. The only child of Jamaican immigrant parents. His mother, Valletta Wallace, was a preschool teacher, while his father, Selwyn George Latoro, was a wetter and politician. He was a politician. Biggie's father left the family when Biggie was only 2 years old, just like Tupac's father left Tupac and his family when Pac was 5. Biggie's mom, Miss Wallace, worked at 2 jobs while raising Biggie. Biggie grew up at 226 St. James Place in Brooklyn's Clinton Hill, near the border with Bedford-Stuyvesant, raised Catholic. Wallace excelled at Queen of All Saints Middle School, winning several awards as an English student. He attended St. Peter Claver Church in the Brawrey, where he was nicknamed Big because of his weight at 10 years old. Biggie claimed to have begun drug dealing when he was 12 years old. Miss Wallace, often at work, first learned of this during his adulthood. Biggie began rapping as a teenager, entertaining people on the streets and performed with local groups, the Old Gold Brothers, as well as the Techniques. His earliest stage name was MC West. Biggie, along with Jay-Z and Busta Rhymes, attended at Bishop Laughlin Memorial High School in Fort Greene to George Westinghouse Career and Technical Education High School in downtown Brooklyn, along with Jay-Z and Busta Rhymes. According to Ms. Wallace, Biggie was still a good student but developed a smart-ass attitude at the new school. Biggie dropped out of high school when he was 17 years old in 1989 and began involving in crimes. That same year in 1989, he was arrested on weapons charge in Brooklyn and was sentenced to 5 years of probation. In 1990, he was arrested on a violation of his probation. A year later, he was arrested in North Carolina for dealing crack cocaine, where he spent 9 months in jail before making bail. After he was released from jail, Biggie made a demo tape, Microphone Murderer, while calling himself Biggie Smalls, alluding both to Calvin Lockhart's character in the 1975 film Let's Do It Again. Biggie began his rap career in 1992. Upon hearing the demo tape, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, still with the A&R department of Uptown Records, arranged to meet Biggie. Promptly signed to Uptown, Wallace appeared on label mates Heavy D and the Boys' 1993 song, A Bunch of Niggas. Mid-year or a year after Wallace's signing, Uptown Records fired Puff Daddy, who a week later launched his own record label, Bad Boy, where of course Puff Daddy signed Biggie to Bad Boy along with Craig Mack. Biggie began his rap career in 1993. On September 13, 1994, Biggie released his debut album, Ready to Die. Ironically, 2 years later, Tupac died on the same day of the second anniversary of Ready to Die. The album peaked at number 15 on the Billboard 200 and number 3 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart, and was certified double platinum. 6 times platinum, that is. This album contains one of the best hip hop albums of all time and one of the best albums of the 90s decade. This will be the only album that was released during Biggie's lifetime. In 1994, Biggie came up with the hip-hop group Junior Mafia, along with his cousin Lil C's, Lil Kim, Nino Brown, Bugsy, Capone, and others. On August 29, 1995, Biggie and Junior Mafia released their debut album, Conspiracy. This album debuted at number 8 on the Billboard 200 and number 2 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart, and was certified gold. This would be the only Junior Mafia album released during Biggie's lifetime. Around this time, Biggie became friends with Tupac. Lil C's recalled the pair as close, often traveling together whenever they're not working. According to Lil C's, Biggie was a frequent guest at Tupac's house, and they spent time together when Tupac was in California or Washington, D.C. Yuckmouth, an Oakland MC, claimed that Biggie's style was inspired by Tupac. Biggie's first single was Party and Bullshit for the 1993 soundtrack, Who's the Man? Biggie appeared in the remix of Flavor in Your Ear along with Craig Mack, Busta Rhymes, LL Cool J, and Rampage. On August 4th, 1994, Biggie met Faith Evans, who he had met 8 days prior to the Bad Boy photo shoot. 5 days later, Juicy reached number 27. Juicy reached number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100. And it was certified 6 times platinum, just like his debut album, Ready to Die. Biggie also became friends with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq said in the interview that the first time he heard Biggie was when Biggie mentioned him in the song Give Me the Loot. And of course, Biggie and Shaq got together to record the song You Can't Stop the Rain off of Shaq's third album, of the same name. Biggie met Charlie Baltimore in the summer of 1995, and they became involved in a romantic relationship. Several months into their relationship, Charlie Baltimore left Biggie a voicemail of a rap verse that she had written, and he began encouraging her to pursue a career in rap music. Of course, we all know the rivalry of the East Coast and West Coast began when Tupac got shot 5 times at the Quad Studio, and he claimed that Biggie and Puff Daddy set him up. In his year of success, Biggie involved in the East Coast-West Coast rivalry with former friend turned rival Tupac. In an interview with Vibe in April of 1995, while serving time at Clinton Correctional Facility, Tupac accused Uptown Records founder, the late Andre Harrell, Biggie, and Puff Daddy of setting him up getting shot 5 times. Following his release from prison, of course, Tupac got signed with Death Row Records. And, of course, Tupac released the diss track to Biggie, Junior Mafia, Bad Boy, Mobb Deep, and Chino XL, Hit Him Up. Two days after the death of Tupac, Biggie and Lil Cease were arrested in Brooklyn for smoking marijuana in public and had their car repossessed. The next day, on September 16th, Biggie chose a Chevrolet Lumina rental SUV as a substitute, despite Lil Cease's obsessions. The vehicle had brake problems, but Wallace dismissed them. The car collided with a rail on the New Jersey Turnpike, shattering Biggie's left leg, Lil Cease's jaw, and Charlie Baltimore with multiple injuries, who was in the vehicle. Of course, Biggie's daughter Tiana was born in August of 1993. On October 29, 1996, Biggie's second son, Christopher Wallace C.J. Jr. was born. That following month, Lil' Kim released her debut album, Hardcore. On January 27, 1997, Biggie was ordered to pay $41,000 in damages following an incident involving a friend of a concert promoter who claimed Biggie and his entourage beat him following a dispute in May of 1995. In February of 97, Biggie decided to travel to California to promote his upcoming second and last album, Life After Death, and recorded a music video for his last album that was released during his lifetime, Hypnotize. Hypnotize was released on March 4th, 1997, 5 days before Biggie's death, which was his last song that was released during his lifetime. On March 8th of 1997, Biggie attended the Soul Train Awards after party hosted by Vibe magazine. Guest appearances include Faith Evans, the late Aaliyah, and members of the Bloods and Crips. The next day at 12:30 a.m. Pacific time, after the fire department closed the party early due to overcrowding, Biggie left with his entourage in 2 GMC Suburbans to return to his hotel. Next thing you know, at 12:45 a.m., the streets were crowded with people leaving the party. Biggie's truck stopped at a red light 50 yards from the Peterson Automobile Museum, and a black Chevy Impala pulled up alongside it. Of course, the driver rolled down his window pulled out his 9mm blue steel pistol and shot at Biggie's car. Four bullets hit Biggie. Four bullets hit Biggie, and his entourage subsequently rushed him to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 1:15 a.m. at 24 years old. On March 25th of 1997, 16 days after his death, Biggie's second and last album, Life After Death, was released. And by the way, the only guest appearance on the Ready to Die album was Method Man in the song The What. This album quickly debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 and #1 on the top R&B/hip hop albums chart and was certified diamond. This was also the second double disc hip hop album, with Tupac's All Eyes on Me being the first. I wouldn't really call this a posthumous album because Biggie already had finished the album before he passed. So I wouldn't call this a posthumous album because Biggie already finished the album before his death. Two albums were released after Biggie's death. Born Again, released on December 7th of 1999. Some albums have featured like unheard songs, and some songs have featured Biggie's verses we've heard before. On December 20th of 2005, Biggie's second and last posthumous album, Duets, The Final Chapter, was released. This was pretty much the last project. The last mainly new material for Biggie. I would have to say Born Again was much better than Duets, The Final Chapter, in my opinion. This album was extremely beaten by Jamie Foxx's second album, Unpredictable, and Mary J. Blige's album, The Breakthrough, selling 438,000 copies. I just can't believe that Biggie would have been 50 years old. Imagine what he would have looked like 25 years later if he did not get killed. Biggie is, of course, considered to be one of the greatest rapper of all time. And for those of you that grew up watching Martin like I did, you guys remember that episode of Martin, season 4, episode 3? I believe that was Biggie's only television appearance, or he made an appearance on New York Undercover, and of course he made a guest appearance on that episode of Martin, season 4, episode 3, Blow Baby Blow, which is my favorite episode of Martin. But who knows what Biggie... He said in the 1995 interview that he would retire from rapping in the year 2000 to manage the careers of the members from Junior Mafia. But who knows what the rap game would be like if Biggie was still here 25 years later. But anyway, that wraps up my rant celebrating what would have been the 50th birthday of the late great Notorious B.I.G. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you like about Biggie? What are your favorite songs by him? And I'll be back in a minute after I upload this rant, reminiscing 21 years of a tag team championship match between the two-man power trip, Triple H and Stone Cold, versus Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho from the May 21st, 2001 edition of Raw is War. Happy heavenly 50th birthday to the late great Notorious B.I.G.